Greetings, Namo Buddhaya. I am K.T.S. Rao, former professor and head of the Department of Buddhist Studies, Delhi University. In this module number 14, I shall be talking about the first Buddhist council. According to the accounts given in the Vinaya of different schools and the Sri Lankan chronicles, the news of the Buddha's death having taken place at Kushinagar was brought to Mahakashyap by a naked ascetic of the Ajivika sect. At this time, he was proceeding from Pava to Kushinagar with a large retinue. On hearing of the Buddha's death, the Arhantas understood that all is indeed impermanent, but the non-released monks began to grieve. However, a newly ordained monk called Subhadra was overjoyed when he heard of the Buddha's death. He declared that it was an occasion to celebrate, as the Buddha would no longer be there to reprimand the likes of him for their unseemly behavior. He entreated with the boisterously grieving monks to abstain from showing sorrow. He exhorted them to think of the occurrence as a good riddance. Subhadra pointed out to them that the master used to treat them as spoiled children, was harsh to them and ruthless towards them, and above all, often reprimanded them for their unseemly demeanor. He further told them that now they were free to do as they pleased, were no longer bound to Gautam Buddha's rigid discipline. Alarmed by the disrespectful behavior shown by monks like Subhadra and widespread sentiment of doubt and dismay amongst the members of the Sangha, Mahakashyap and his associates decided to convene this council, Sangiti, so that the authenticity and purity of the Buddha Vachan, that is, teachings of the Buddha, may be preserved. Otherwise, they felt the dharma proclaimed by the Buddha was in danger of vanishing. The Chinese pilgrim Xuanzang and the Tibetan Dulwa also allude to the widespread sentiment of doubt and dismay as having been the cause for the convening of this first Buddhist council. Rajgraha, the capital of the Magadhan kingdom ruled by Ajatashatru, present-day Rajgir, was chosen as the venue of the council, as there was abundance of lodging, places and plenty of alms. Kashyap is selected to elect the attending monks, and 499 Arhanta monks were chosen. The monks pleaded for Anand, who had not yet attained Arhantship, to be admitted to the council. Kashyap reconsiders and Anand is included, bringing the total number of participating monks to 500. The council begins with Kashyap questioning Upali on the Vinaya and Anand on the Dharma. Anand relates that the Buddha assented to abolishing the lesser and minor precepts. But Kashyap, in fear of the Sangha falling into disrepute, decides to accept all the Buddha Vachan unconditionally. Despite the fact that Anand had reached Arhanthood on the night before the council began, and that the attainment of Arhanthood makes a person immune to all guilt and punishment, still Anand interestingly was reproached for several faults. It was considered essential to keep the leading personality of the council above board. Anand also did not consider these transgressions as serious, but out of respect for the Sangha, he made the formal confession to receive absolution. These transgressions were, number 1, he was accused that he had not ascertained the lesser and minor precepts whose abrogation had been permitted by the Buddha. Number 2, he had trodden on the rainy season garment of the Buddha while sewing it. 3, he had allowed women first to salute the dead body of the Buddha. 4, he had not requested the master to enable him to continue his study for a kalpa. 5, he had successfully pleaded for the entry of women into the Sangha. 6, he failed to supply drinking water to the Buddha, though he had asked thrice for it. 7, he showed the privy parts of the Buddha to men and women of low character. Only reluctantly he confessed to the transgressions and replied like this. 1, as he was overwhelmed with the grief at the imminent death of the master, he could not formulate the lesser and the minor precepts. With regard to the second accusation, Anand pointed out that as there was no one to help him, he had to tread upon the garment of the master. With regard to the third accusation, Anand pointed out that as he did not want to detain women, he permitted them to salute the body of the master first. He also did this for their edification. With regard to number 4 accusation, Anand pointed out that he was under the influence of Mara when he forgot to request the master to enable him to continue his study for a kalpa. With regard to the 5th accusation, Anand pointed out that he had to plead for the admission of women into the Sangha out of consideration for Mahaprajapati Gautami, who had nursed the master in his infancy. With regard to the 6th accusation, Anand pointed out that as the water of the river was muddy, he did not supply the same to the Buddha. With regard to the 7th accusation, he pointed out that he showed the privy parts of the Buddha to men and women of low character with the purpose to rid them of their sensuality. All the 7 replies of Anand were taken as satisfactory and he was exonerated.